Hey everyone, this is Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and this week I've been driving the 2022 Nissan Leaf. This particular Leaf is the SL Plus model, meaning it is the absolute top of the line Leaf. Got some new styling over the first generation Leaf. I think that they've nailed it with this exterior styling. It doesn't look EV-ish anymore. It doesn't have that sort of like Prius look that all of these OG EVs had back in the day. I think that this just looks like a normal, very tasteful hatchback. And it's cool to have something that's not an SUV in this market nowadays. Yes, it's an EV. Yes, it fits with the times that way, but it's not lifted up on stilts. It doesn't have a super high roof line. It's just a hatchback, and that is important because I think that this Nissan Leaf is one of the more fun EVs that I've driven. It's certainly more fun to drive than some of its SUV counterparts, and it doesn't feel like every other EV either because it is front-wheel drive. So just some cool things with this. Let's go ahead and step in here. We have chrome door handles, check that out. With the SL Plus, you get this really nice leather interior that is trimmed with Alcantara, and we've got blue stitching all throughout as well, which is very nice. And we have these sort of like pleated floor mats. Pretty nice quality there. Ooh, as for room in the back seat, you know, it's normal hatchback in this segment sort of room. I mean, this would be comparable to any sort of Ford Focus, Nissan Sentra, anything in that class. Pretty cool. We've got a little tray down here. We've got USB ports for charging your phone and 2 cup holders, which means we don't have one that pulls down right here. But I found that this one actually works a little bit better because these holes are deeper, so it holds your drink, prevents it from tipping over. In the back here, we of course have our charging cable that's nicely wrapped up in this little pouch that attaches to the car here so it doesn't flop around while you're driving. We have our Bose subwoofer, amplifier, whatever is in there, and then this nice Leaf branded trunk carpet. A pretty good amount of room back there, especially when you fold the seats down. Quite a lot of cargo room in the Leaf. Check that out. Obviously that seat would have to be moved further forward, but anyways, leaves for some good room to put things in the Leaf, so that is awesome. Also have a cargo cover here, which is nice. But up front is where it gets even better. Lots of the same sort of materials used in the back seat, of course. I love this Alcantara that they trimmed the seats with. It goes very nicely with the blue stitching. We've also got these same sort of style floor mats up here with blue Leaf lettering on them as well. The blue stitching is also carried onto this flat bottom steering wheel. It goes all the way around here, as you can see. Looks absolutely awesome. The steering wheel feels great in your hands as well. Let's go ahead and power this thing up. Normal Nissan bings and bongs here, nothing special for the Leaf, but that's okay. Other materials, we've got this sort of like printed plastic material over here. Interesting. As far as infotainment goes, we of course just have Nissan's standard infotainment here with your music in the middle, navigation, menus on the bottom. I've been running Apple CarPlay, which is only wired. We don't yet have wireless Apple CarPlay in the Leaf. Well, that's okay. We've got 2 ports here. It's actually cool because you have a choice between normal USB and USB-C. So no matter what cord you have, you are able to plug it in here. Little armrest storage compartment here. Not the largest that I've seen, but that's okay. It's still a nice armrest. It's still in a spot where you can rest your arm no matter where you are in the car. We do have a bit of piano black, but it's a little bit metallic. It's like a tuxedo black, which is cool. It's, you know, sets it aside a little from just the normal piano black. E-pedal right here, switch. Essentially, E-pedal just means your one-pedal drive. So if you're used to a Tesla or a Mach-E or whatever, it's the same thing. When you take your foot off the gas, it'll apply the brake gradually. Of course, you still have use of the brake, but it's very easy to just drive with one pedal when you're in that mode. Heated seats as well with 2 settings, and joy of joys, we have a climate control panel right here. It's not all in the infotainment. We also have a volume knob. That's great. I love when not everything is integrated into the infotainment, and that's extra awesome to see in an EV. They're not getting ahead of themselves with this car. They're sticking with the times, with what is relevant right now. Climate control panel, volume knob, that's great. I don't like when everything is in the screen and I have to go through 6 different menus just to turn my climate down. I'm actually going to shut this off real quick because I want to show you one more thing before we set off. I've got a little button over here that looks like a gas pump, but it has a little plug on it. Press that and it launches your little charge flap thing here. Pops that open and you can see that your little charge port is right there. So that's where you plug the car in. This is nice. I like how you can simply just pull up and charge. You don't have to worry about, backing in. Oh, what side do I need to park on? No, you just pull in straight on and there it is. And it shuts pretty easily as well. So that's pretty cool. All right, well, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and take this Leaf SL Plus for a drive and see what it's like on the road. Very interesting shifter down here. It's like a sort of spherical type thing down here. It's weird to look at, and you would think that it would be extremely inconvenient, but it's really not. You just drive, just flick it down for drive. Reverse is over and up, and we do have a 360 camera here as well as just a normal reversing camera, but it's super easy to use. And then park is of course just that button right there. I love the noises that EVs make when you're just going at a slow speed. They sound like spaceships. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn on the e-pedal mode because I like the one pedal drive.
Road with restricted access.
Yes, I'm already on that road, thank you though. It is a thing with every new Nissan and Infiniti that I've driven. There's this voice that comes through to tell you if you're on a road with restricted access or if there's a dirt road nearby. It makes sure that you're informed. So that's always good. So that one pedal drive there took me to a complete stop. Yeah. God, I love the instant torque of electric vehicles. It's so satisfying when you hit the gas and just all of the power is right there all at once. So, speaking of power, this Leaf is powered by, of course, an electric motor with 214 horsepower. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but like I said, with the instant torque and everything, this car is really quick. And being that it's front-wheel drive, you get tons of torque steer, which is kind of fun and entertaining because it reminds me of like a turbocharged hot hatch. The way that when you get into boost, it tries to rip the steering wheel out of your hands. Kind of get a little bit of that in this car, and there's a fun factor to that. I know that that's probably not fun to normal people that buy this car, but to someone who's an enthusiast and someone who likes driving, I mean, it's all part of the fun. The overall just feel of this car, the driving dynamics, they're great. It really just drives like a normal car, minus having instant torque. There's 60. It's not that fast, but just like the instant, as any EV is, it is a little bit addicting. I find myself driving down the road and just flooring it because I like it. All right, coming up now to the first corner. I'm curious to see how this car will do. Of course, with these eco rolling resistant tires, it's probably going to make a lot of noise and be very dramatic. But just know that I'm really not going that fast around here. The car is just making it out like I am. Power out. As far as cornering, it corners flat. There's really no body roll. I'm gonna be a little more careful for guardrail. I don't want to crash. Yeah. It's fun to drive this car spiritedly. I was very anxious to drive this car because I was a little bit worried that it was going to be kind of bland and slow and just unenthusiastic, but that is not the case, really. They've given this car some character, and I love that. Yeah! Flashing traction light there. This car would be awesome in autocross. If you lowered it just a little bit, put it on some sticky tires, it would dominate in autocross. It's so nimble with that instant torque. No one will be able to touch you. Of course, you'd have to have a little bit of a driver mod as well to compete, but overall, this thing would be awesome. Overall comfort, also great. The seat is great. The ride is comfortable. There's been nothing in this car that's really irritated me while I've been driving it this week. And that's great. I mean, it's one of those things where maybe electric cars are starting to become worth it into understeer. Not too much understeer. Ooh, yep, a lot of a lot of torque steer there. I love it. It's such a happy little car. You can tell that it wants to be serious because obviously it wants to give you the full range. It wants to give you that full, 218 miles, the EPA claims for this car. And make sure to watch Charlie's range test if you want to find out what it actually gets. But you can tell that it wants to be serious. I'm going to give this GMC a little room so we can push this around the entrance ramp. It wants to be just a humble EV, but then it also allows you to have some fun. Oh, we're flogging the Leaf. Exited there at 64. That is excellent. Ooh, it's very bright right now. This car is genuinely fun to drive. And EVs are always usually fun, but this car isn't fun in like a, oh my god, it's not breathtakingly fast, but it's fun in the way of like a hot hatch. And I think it'd be really cool if they did some sort of like a Nismo version of this car with a little bit lowered suspension, bigger wheels, stickier tires, just a little bit sportier seats. That would be excellent. I would love that car. I love this car. All right, I was having a little bit too much fun on that entrance ramp, and I forgot to mention some of the driving aids on this car. So we have full-on forward lane keep assist, forward as in radar, guided cruise control, lane keep assist, and blind spot monitoring. So this thing's got everything that you'd need as far as modern assists. So that's great to see as well. And you can turn it all on and off with the push of this little blue button over here. And you can also toggle what you want to be on. So if you press the button and you don't want the lane keep assist, you can individually turn that off, individually turn off your blind spot monitors, which, why would you do that? But you can if you'd like. Lots of configurable things. So I guess now we should get to the point where we discuss pricing. So the base Nissan Leaf, not this one, the base model car starts just under 30 grand at about 29,000. Once you get up to the SL Plus, this is the top of the line. You've got the base, then you've got the SV, and then there's the SV Plus, and then there's the SL Plus, which is what this one is. This car is about 38,000, slightly under. It's like 37,000 and some change. So you have to also think, well, okay, 37,000. What about your normal electric car sort of tax credit things? Well, if you make the right amount of money per year, I want to say it's like 68,000 or something. If you make over that, you are able to get the $7,500 tax credit. So if you're in that group, you are able to get the Leaf SL Plus for under 30 grand if you count for that $7,500 tax credit. So that's pretty cool. I think that this car is worth 30 grand all day. I mean, it's so much fun to drive, and you've got amenities, you've got heated seats, you've got Apple CarPlay, you've got in-house navigation if you don't prefer the Apple CarPlay. You've got a flat bottom steering wheel with blue stitching. Yeah, I've been charmed by the Nissan Leaf. If I were to say anything bad about it, I would say sometimes the blind spots are a little bit annoying. These A-pillars are super thick up front here, and the C-pillars are also very large. So sometimes the blind spots can be a little bit in the way. But you do have blind spot monitors, so as far as the rear blind spots go, that's okay. And if you try and change lanes while there's someone, the car will beep and ping at you and make sure that you don't do it. These are only irritating if you're trying to line up to pull into a spot. Sometimes they can get in the way, but it's really not that big of a deal because you have little windows here on either side that help you see a little bit better. I love pushing it hard out of corners because it'll spin the wheels and give you the little flashing traction light. I love a car that has a little bit of character. And this Leaf has character. And it's cool to see that in a little front-wheel drive electric hatchback because it gives me hope for the future that even if we do lose the internal combustion engine someday, we'll still be able to have fun in cars. And this Leaf is a perfect example of that. All right, everyone, and that is going to...
Road with restricted access.
Yep, thank you. That is going to wrap up the review of the Nissan Leaf. I will say it's very refreshing to drive a modest car like this that from the outside you wouldn't think anything of it. But it's nice to drive a car like this that has some character and some soul and some funness to drive. I don't know if funness is a word, but it has that. I have really enjoyed driving this Leaf, and I recommend you go and drive one as well. And if you are one of those people that really just dislikes electric cars, this may be one to start with to get yourself familiar with an electric car because it still sort of acts like a normal car as far as the infotainment, climate, all that stuff goes. Not everything's integrated into a screen, so this may be a good place to start. If you're interested in hearing the Bose 7-speaker audio system, or if you're interested in range, make sure to check out Charlie's videos on those things. They will be linked down below. If I were in the market for an EV, this would probably be one of my top choices. So then, thank you all so much for watching. This has been Christopher Brower with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.